Yeah.
Alright, hey, what's up, guys? It's RK, and I'm just gonna go over a few things that I did when I made the beat for the mixtape. Here's the beat right here. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty dope. So I'm gonna go over like the hi-hats right now. Here's what the hi-hat loop sounds like. So that's the chorus. Chorus with the hat. Verse. And verse part 2. It's like really stripped down. So yeah, when I go into like make these hi-hat loops, I normally start by gathering all of my samples. So here you can see I have a drum rack. So I have just the regular hi-hat. Let's open that up a little bit. The one that I call the beat, which is just kind of like that 808 kind of sound, and it follows every single beat, kind of keeps the loop going. Here's an open hi-hat. That's gonna help like snap into our snares and stuff like that. I'll show you later. Here's a crash. So Lex Luger crashes. They have like a real sound to them, which helps because everything else kind of sounds robotic. So whatever. Another open hat, which is gonna provide variety. A symbol that I call the follow symbol. It's kind of like high pitched. Here's one that's been pitched up a couple semitones, or a couple half steps. And that's gonna follow the kick drum. Here's another symbol that follows the beat. Every beat comes in a little special hat. I call it intro hat. And here's a little triangle. So yeah, that's pretty trappy. So yeah, as you can tell, here's the beat again. Wait. So something that I do, which is pretty typical, is like I said, I put the beat on every single one. So that's following if we zoom in here, it's on every single beat. So if you take those out, it sounds pretty hollow. So yeah, those are pretty important. You don't really hear it because it's on every beat. It's kind of like a mental noise more than anything is what I call it. And then here's that, the open hi-hat comes in right before the third beat because we're in halftime. So that's when the snare comes down on the 3. So here, I'll show you with the snare. This is gonna sound like really snappy with the hi-hat, with the open hi-hat right here. Yeah, that's dope. But without it, it sounds pretty lame. Yeah, but we put back in. Yeah, it's cool. That's what we want. So put it all together. So yeah, that's cool. And then we have this little follow guy. Then we have the follow high, and that's kind of, as you can see, when we have 2 eighth notes that are right next to each other, I go to the high one. That's just to provide some variety, or else you're just gonna get that sound in your ears the whole time. So just a little bit of variety. And when it's with the kick, you can hear it. And that's just going to provide a lot more clarity to the kick, like if we take them out. The kick's just kind of there, but if we put them in, adds like a nice little like attack to the top of it. It's pretty nice. So those are everything but like the actual trilling hi-hats. So this part has trilling hi-hats. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but I kind of like to focus everything around the third beat. because that's when the snare hits and that's when it's going to be the most dramatic. So things like get really exciting around the third beat. So as you can see here, we have like a trill of 30-second notes coming in right when the snare hits. So it feels like the snare is kind of exploding into a bunch of stuff. And then we have the other way, I think at the beginning, yeah, over here, it's trilling into the 3. So it feels like it's swooping kind of into it. That's just really effective. You can do it on, I mean, there's no right or wrong way, but that's just what I enjoy doing. So when we put the snare in, it sounds like so. Yeah, right there. That's cool. So that one kind of feels like the snare is setting off a bunch of hi-hats. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So one thing that you don't want to do is just copy and paste everything over, or else it's going to get really tiring really fast. So you got to keep some elements. So this is like one of the elements I like to keep. So trilling up to the third beat on the second bar and trilling out of the third beat on the fifth bar, the first bar of the second part. So here's like an interlude. Here's what this sounds like. The difference being that there's no, it's a different beat hat. So this one is right here, and the interlude is up here. That's just another thing, you know, like you just don't want to get tired of hearing the same hats. They're very similar sounding, but they're different enough that your brain doesn't you know, get numb from listening to the same one over and over again. This has some followy cymbals. This one does not. So it has kind of more of an empty feeling. The bell comes in every 2 bars. Just kind of remind you like where we're at. Yeah. And then we just cut the regular hats right there to give it a really dramatic feeling. Whenever you cut these guys, it's just gonna get really crazy. We can take it even further by cutting away the beat hat. That is really going to strip it down. And, you know, in the vein of less being more, it's pretty extreme. Also, we cut the downbeat. If you're still using the downbeat in 2013, you should stop using the downbeat in 2013. So this is what it sounds like. Pretty dramatic. It's cool. I like it. So as far as like tuning these bad boys, open up your release to whatever you feel like is right. Usually with the hi-hats, it doesn't matter because they're so short. I normally EQ everything out that's underneath and put a little boost on the highs. And then I also, on my sends, make sure you throw the hi-hats, all of them, into like a really short reverb, or else it's just, here, I'll show you what it sounds like without the reverb. It's not fun. Even if it is just kind of really slight. Just provides like a shadow. There it is with it all the way. Yeah, it gives it just a nice little shadow. I also throw it through, I have like these special compressions up here. It's kind of like multiband dynamics. And I throw it through the high. It's basically an exciter, like a vocal exciter. And you throw the hi-hats through that. If you don't, what it sounds like without it or with it. Then when you take them out, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit quieter, but it also just doesn't have the kind of like that sharpness to it, kind of like the preciseness, that toughness to it. So yeah, throw it through like a high-end multiband compressor, add some oomph to it. As far as individual tuning, I don't really do too much to them, except for adjust volume. Sometimes I'll pan these guys out, especially the open ones. I don't know why I didn't hear, but I should. Let's see. The actual hi-hat, the trilling hi-hat has a really fast compressor on it. That is because it sounds too rough. It's too it hurts the ears kind of without this compressor on it. So here, I'll show you. Where's so that's with the compressor on. With it off, like it kind of has like a little pop to the very beginning. This kind of makes it fluffier, is what I say. It sounds fluffier. It has the fastest attack you can get on it with a really quick release. Just a normal 2-to-1 ratio. I picked the tougher model of the compressor. The F1 is supposed to be a little bit more aggressive. And yeah, and you just get a good amount of gain reduction in there. That's about right. Just enough to make it a little bit fluffier. And then I throw an auto pan on it. You can use, note value, or you can use, frequency, time value. But you also shouldn't be panning it too much, or else it's just going to get annoying. This is just to get it out of in front of your face the whole song, or else it would get really tiring. So just to give it some space, make it move around a little bit. You can get pretty crazy with it, but I like to keep it kind of simple. You can also throw a phaser on this if you really want to. Makes it sound a little different. So yeah, that's hi-hats. That's really about it for those guys. And then I guess I'll move on to the kick and 808. Normally it's good to group these guys together, but I didn't do that for this one for some reason. The 808 is a sample. Just pick your 808 sample, it's done. Find a little good point of it. For the EQ, I carve them. So yeah, find the part or the frequency where it's really humming and kind of give that a few decibels. And then with the kick, you're going to want to do the same thing. With this kick, I have a really fluffy kick. Then I have kind of this like precise one. So yeah, I also take out, because I'm carving the EQ, so I take out the same frequency that the 808 was hitting at. Same with the 808. So they're like mirror images. It's also sidechained to the kick a little bit, just to give it some space. If you sidechain it too much though, it's gonna like really pulse, and that's not good. You just wanna like get it out of the way so the kick can have its initial like pop, its initial thump. But if you do it too much, then it's gonna like swell in, and that's no good. No one wants that. Well, maybe, I guess if you want it for artistic value, then that's what you want. As far as pattern goes, gosh, I'm not going to tell you what pattern to do, but I will, like I said, you can hear, so I'll turn the metronome on too. It's really syncopated, and it skips the downbeat. Right there. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, there's nothing right there, so it's like kind of dramatic. I also have a trilling snare right there, or leads into that, so it sounds like this. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, that's the kick drum right there and the 808. That's really all my secrets for this. Everything else is pretty standard. Get your lead or whatever you want, throw in some effects. Don't get too crazy with it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the mixtape and enjoy other people's advice.